Thank you. I was taught to always acknowledge when there's an elephant in the room, and in this case, the elephant is the room itself. We are gathered today for Quest Forward Academy Santa Rosa's second ever graduation, celebrating the accomplishments of 5 extraordinary young men, and we're doing it all digitally, virtually, in the Zoomosphere. There's something jarring, disjointing about a graduation like this. With our speeches pre-recorded, these young men wearing gowns in their homes, having filmed processional videos weeks ago, and there's something sad about it too. These seniors have worked hard to get here, and we've built a community together. And I know it's not easy to be completing this ceremony remotely like this. But the beloved QFA quarantiners we're celebrating here today, along with all our mentors, families, and friends, recognize the historic moment we're living through. And we understand that by convening remotely like this, we are all doing our part, however small, in service of our wider community. And we're doing our best to adapt to a changing situation. And that's really what this commencement address is all about. And apart though we may be, telecommuning in cyberspace, may we also remember that we're here for something of a sacred purpose, to mark a significant rite of passage in the lives of 5 human beings, each bound to live his own worthy life and make his own unique mark on the world. Graduating in the era of COVID-19 is a perfect occasion to reflect on this idea I've been thinking about really ever since I started working at QFA, and that is the idea of our students as first responders in a world on fire. When you're in an emergency situation, whether it's a record-breaking wildfire like those most of us here can recall, a global health pandemic like we're all living through right now, or an unexpected injury on the trail while hiking with friends, the most important thing you can have is situational awareness, the ability to remain calm, slow down, and think on your feet. Of course, it always helps to be prepared, for as they say, fortune favors the prepared, and preparation is always best done in advance. But when the emergency happens, you're as prepared as you're going to be. So whether or not you remembered to pack your go bag, the more important question is whether you're able to take a breath, observe your surroundings, and adapt to dynamic situations. There's a poster in the lobby of our school that some of you may recall. The caption reads, "If you memorize the answers, what happens when the questions change?" The education that we have co-created here at Quest Forward Academy has equipped you 5 young people to be agile thinkers and first responders in an increasingly complex world. It has equipped you to be warriors. I often call you guys warriors, and I'd now like to say a few words about what this concept of warriorship means to me. Because the way I see it, a big part of what this graduation represents is you're stepping more fully into your role as a guardian and a protector of this world we share and this great big human family to which we all belong. In the words of contemporary author Meg Wheatley, warriors are people who focus their lives and work on making a difference. They respond to a sense of service that gives meaning to their lives beyond petty definitions of happiness and self-satisfaction. They are of all ages, faiths, professions, and cultures. Depending on their age, they have contributed in many different ways or are aspiring to contribute. The warriors arise when the people need protection. We step into this role of contribution and service, learning to assess what is possible and what is not. We are brokenhearted in witnessing what is being lost. We are exhausted from efforts that can no longer bear fruit. Yet, we have abiding faith in the human spirit, in the capacity of people to be generous, creative, kind, and compassionate, no matter what. It is our faith in the human spirit that inspires us to undertake the discipline of training to be of service for this time." End quote. I love that phrase, the discipline of training to be of service. These words echo the mantra of parkour innovator Georges Hébert, être fort pour être utile, be strong to be useful. It's not about flexing or getting or taking. It's more than superficial posing and looking out for yourself. It's about service, usefulness, giving. It's not about the ego. It's not about me. It's about us all. The warrior is not a soldier of fortune or a mercenary hired to exploit distant lands and people. The warrior I'm talking about is much closer to the archetype, the idea, of the bodhisattva, the awakened and liberated one who keeps on fighting for the awakening and liberation of all. It's not only historical and headline-hitting heroes like Martin Luther King or Greta Thunberg. It's the women and men in any community who look out for the well-being of others and do what's right instead of what's easy. Something I've seen each of these graduates do in the time I've known them. The path of the warrior is not easy, and sometimes it is necessarily a lonely one. You have chosen to take the red pill, and this means strife, not peace but a sword. But taking this road less traveled, this path of the warrior, this journey of the hero with 1,000 faces, really will make all the difference as you build lives of integrity and meaning. If I know anything about you guys, you'll continue to play hard, and you're developmentally in the time of your life when you may be testing the limits of what is wise, shall we say. But the warrior learns to get up the morning after the long night, perhaps even earlier, embrace the sunrise, have a stretch, wash up, and continue about his business of liberating himself or herself and others. Comedian Jerry Seinfeld observed that as a kid, when you're bored, you just sprawl out everywhere. Lay on the floor in the bank or a grocery store, or thrash into a tantrum on the main concourse at an airport. In many ways, being an adult is simply the ability to tolerate being bored or uncomfortable while remaining upright. It's the ability to endure some discomfort in the short term to achieve the desired result in the long run. Initiation rites are often missing in our culture today. In most indigenous societies from the beginning of time, young people like you would already have been taken away from the village by local elders and shamans, taught to care for the land and the water, steeped in the mythology and the tradition and sacred values and laws of the tribe, how to treat one another, how to behave honorably, how to listen to the environment and do the right thing, often receiving some ritual scar or performing a challenging feat, hunting down the proverbial lion or timber wolf to earn your place as an adult. Today, we don't quite have that initiatory experience. Moments like this graduation are a big part of it, and an even bigger part are the personal trials we go through, the losses we experience, the risks we take and the falls we suffer, the mistakes we make, and how we learn and grow from them. And hopefully these modern-day initiations are instilling in each of you some of the timeless wisdom so desperately needed in our world on fire, to protect those in need of protection, including the children and elders, to treat others kindly and never stand for bullying or abuse or preying on the weak, to protect the land and water for future generations, remembering that the earth is not given to you by your parents. It is loaned to you by your children's children. And for the most part, I think it is working, this initiation of yours. I alluded earlier to disaster preparedness and this metaphor of our students as first responders. Living in California in the age of climate change, having dealt with all we've dealt with, one learns to see the world with a sort of scenario planning, disaster awareness, probably similar in many ways to that of our ancestors, who for countless generations lived in a world characterized by daily existential threats like predators and exposure to the elements, and a world before refrigeration and Siri and Amazon Prime. When I look at these graduates, I see 5 young men who anyone out there would be lucky to have beside them in a life-threatening crisis or emergency situation. You may have handed in your fair share of late assignments, and you may be some of the silliest dudes I've ever met, but I also trust deeply that if the lights ever go out, if the flames ever return, if a friend is in need, it's warriors like you who will rise to the occasion and get the job done. Warriors like Cole the Capable, the entrepreneurial, street-smart, well-connected brother who can engineer a solution to anything and make big moves and manifest like a magician. Warriors like Kalen the Wise, the portrait of the shaman, the observant and intuitive healer, the village medicine man people go to for care and counsel, the keeper of good vibes. Warriors like Maximilian the Monumental, the big man with the big heart and deep reserves of endurance and inner fortitude, the guy who will literally carry any one of us up and over the mountain if needed. Warriors like Alex the Dependable, the outside-the-box artist who's also a team player, the one you can give the sacred message that needs to get over the hill to prevent the war and trust that he will get it there. warriors like Casey the charismatic, the diplomatic, the last warrior on the mountain with me back when our journey began, the scholar, the teacher with the wit to gather and pass on the knowledge to the next generation. Each of you hilarious, each of you competent, each of you, in my estimation, worthy warriors, men among men, brothers I'm happy to see joining the adult population, and human beings I'm glad to know are out there protecting our air, our water, our freedom, our future. Please remember all you've been entrusted with, because you've done it. You've made it to the end of your time at QFA, which also marks the completion of your journey in compulsory education. Congratulations. Hopefully, this passage marks but the beginning of a lifetime of learning for each of you, but that learning is no longer mandated by an external authority. You're no longer children requiring supervision. When you walk across that stage in a moment, or rather, when we play that footage of you eye-walking across the E stage, you also leave our supervision, and in so doing, enter into our vision as peers. Before that happens, please allow me to conclude with a few parting pieces of unsolicited advice. Of course, advice and opinions are cheap and plentiful in this world, and I trust you'll take this with the grain of salt that should accompany the advice of any other schmo out there. But you all did ask me here to speak at your graduation, so here goes. 4 things. 1. Brush your teeth. And I say this as a symbol for the larger statement. Care for your vessel. Model good health for others and ensure that you're able to help out by staying fit. It's just like putting on your shoes right away in an emergency scenario so you don't cut your feet on the broken glass everywhere and bleed out. Put on the shoes and help others. Eat your veggies, get daily exercise, and, most often overlooked by young warriors such as yourselves, treat yourself to good rest. Everything you put into your body and everything you do with it ultimately impacts your ability to be happy and help others. 2. Make mistakes. I love the quote by our school's founder, Joe Ricketts. I will succeed by using the entrepreneurial habit of making mistakes. And you all know about Thomas Edison and his famous, I have not failed, I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. Don't forget that your lessons are your blessings. There is an old myth told by Lakota elder Lame Deer that also speaks to the importance of our mistakes. After you die, it is said, you come face to face with an old hag in the other world who will eat your scars one by one before allowing you to continue on. If your scars are too few and do not satisfy her, it is said she will eat your eyes instead, leaving you to enter the next world blind. So earn your scars, cherish them, and leverage that pain as a reminder of how to succeed next time. 3. Someday never comes. So let your light shine fiercely. Do it big and do it now. To paraphrase Marianne Williamson, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine, as children do. And as we let our light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Finally, and with all due respect to others, please remember, this above all, to thine own self be true. In this infinite universe, we are each our own planet, or perhaps battlestar, each of us a unique vessel, hurtling through space, with our own civilization, our own language and values and beliefs, our own mission and journey and destination. Each human life, each civilization is equally valuable. And just as you don't own the right to tell another how to sing their song, nobody out there owns the right to tell you how to sing yours. So go forth, sing your song, shine your light. It is an honor for us all to witness you, celebrate you, and stand by your side in these epic times. Quest Forward Academy, class of 2020, congratulations. Onward.